They ripped my dress in front of 200 people, called me trash. My boyfriend watched in silence as his mother slapped me across the face. The crowd laughed and went live. 3 million people watched my humiliation. Then my billionaire father's helicopter landed, and their smiles disappeared forever. Before we begin, if you love stories about justice and karma, hit that subscribe button right now. Trust me, you won't believe what happens next. And stay until the end because the revenge, it's absolutely worth it. My name is Emma, and I need to tell you about the night that changed everything. But first, you need to understand who I really am. I'm the only daughter of William Harrison. Yes, that William Harrison, the tech billionaire. Forbes lists our family wealth at $8.5 billion. Growing up, I had everything money could buy: private jets, designer clothes, exclusive parties. But here's what I didn't have: real friends, genuine love, people who saw me, not my father's bank account. By the time I turned 25, I was exhausted. Every person who came into my life wanted something: a business connection, an investment, a lifestyle upgrade. So I made a decision that my father thought was crazy. I walked away from it all. Well, not completely, but I started living like a normal person. I rented a small apartment, got a job as a graphic designer, drove a regular car. I told people my last name was Cooper, not Harrison. For 2 whole years, I lived simply, quietly, and honestly, I was happier than I'd ever been. Then I met Brandon. It was at a coffee shop on a rainy Tuesday morning. He was struggling with his laptop, cursing under his breath about a presentation. I helped him fix a software issue. He bought me a coffee to say thank you. We talked for 3 hours. He was a mid-level manager at a real estate company. Good-looking, charming, funny, and he had no idea who I really was. Over the next 8 months, we fell in love. Or at least I thought we did. Brandon knew me as Emma Cooper, a freelance graphic designer who loved old movies and made terrible jokes. He never questioned why I wasn't interested in expensive restaurants or luxury vacations. He thought I was just low maintenance. Perfect, he called me. His family, he told me, would love me. That should have been my first warning sign. 2 weeks ago, Brandon came to my apartment nervous and excited. His mother, Clarissa, was throwing their annual business party. It was a big deal, apparently. Important clients, business partners, society people. And he wanted me there, to meet his family, officially. I said yes, but I made a choice. I would go as myself. Simple Emma, not Harrison heiress Emma. This would be the ultimate test. If his family could accept me without the money, without the status, then maybe this was real. Maybe Brandon was different from everyone else. My father's secretary, Howard, tried to talk me out of it. Howard has known me since I was 5 years old. He's seen me through everything. When I told him my plan, he looked worried. "Miss Emma," he said carefully, "are you certain about this? Some people reveal their true nature when they think they have power over others." I smiled at him. "That's exactly why I need to do this, Howard. If they can't accept me at my simplest, they don't deserve me at my best." He sighed. "Your father doesn't know about Brandon yet, does he?" "No, and let's keep it that way for now." The night of the party, I stood in front of my closet for an hour. I chose a pale yellow dress. Simple, modest, pretty, but definitely not designer. No jewelry except small earrings. I did my own hair and makeup. Natural. Regular. I looked at myself in the mirror and barely recognized the girl staring back. She looked normal, ordinary, exactly what I wanted. Brandon picked me up, looking handsome in his tailored suit. When he saw me, something flickered across his face. Disappointment? Concern? But he smiled and said I looked beautiful. The drive to the hotel was filled with his nervous chatter about his family. His mother, Clarissa, was particular about things, he said. His father, Kenneth, was serious and traditional. His sister, Natasha, could be a bit much, but she meant well. His cousin, Jessica, was fun but had a sharp tongue. All of these should have been red flags, but I was in love, and love, as I would learn, can make you blind to the truth. We arrived at the Grandview Hotel. The ballroom was spectacular. Crystal chandeliers, silk drapes, tables covered in white linens and gold accents. There were easily 200 people there, all dripping in designer labels and expensive jewelry. The women wore gowns that cost more than most people's monthly rent. The men had watches that could buy cars. And then there was me, in my pale yellow dress from a regular department store. The stares started immediately. People looked me up and down with barely concealed judgment. I heard whispers. Brandon's hand tightened on mine, but not in a reassuring way. In an uncomfortable way. Then I saw her. Clarissa Hayes, Brandon's mother. She stood near the center of the room, holding court like a queen. She wore a deep purple designer gown, and her neck and wrists were covered in diamonds. Real ones. Her hair was perfect, her makeup flawless, her posture radiating arrogance. When she saw Brandon, her face lit up. Then she saw me, and the light died. She walked toward us, her heels clicking on the marble floor. Each step felt like a countdown to disaster. "Brandon, darling," she said, kissing his cheek while staring at me. "And who is this?" Her voice dripped with disdain. The way she said "this" made me feel like an insect she'd found on her shoe. "Mom, this is Emma, my girlfriend. Emma, this is my mother, Clarissa." I extended my hand and smiled warmly. "It's so wonderful to finally meet you, Mrs. Hayes. Brandon has told me so much about you." She looked at my hand like I was offering her a dead fish. She didn't shake it. "Has he?" Her voice was cold. "How interesting." "Brandon, darling, could you not have told her this was a formal event? She looks like she came from a thrift store." People around us stopped talking. They were listening now, watching. I felt heat rise to my face, but I kept my smile. "Oh, I knew it was formal," I said calmly. "This is actually one of my favorite dresses." Clarissa's eyes widened in what looked like horror. "Your favorite?" She turned to Brandon. "Where did you find her exactly?" Before Brandon could answer, his sister Natasha appeared. She was 25, beautiful, and her expression was pure mean girl energy. "Oh my God," Natasha said loudly, looking me up and down. "Brandon, is this a joke? Please tell me this is some kind of prank. Did you bring a charity case to Mom's party?" People were definitely watching now. Some had their phones out. I could see them angling for photos. Brandon shifted uncomfortably. "Natasha, stop. Emma is my girlfriend and—" "And what?" Clarissa interrupted, her voice rising. "And you thought bringing someone who clearly doesn't belong here was appropriate? Look at her, Brandon. Look at this girl. She's not one of us." I felt like I'd been slapped, but I stood tall, keeping my composure. This was the test, I reminded myself. Their true colors were showing. "With all due respect, Mrs. Hayes," I said quietly, "I may not be wealthy, but I—" "Wealthy?" Clarissa laughed, a harsh, cruel sound. "Darling, you're clearly poor as dirt. I can smell desperation on you. You found my successful son and thought you'd won the lottery, didn't you?" The cousin Jessica appeared and joined in. "I bet she Googled him, found out about the family business. Classic gold digger move." The words hit me like physical blows. But what hurt more was Brandon's silence. He stood there saying nothing, doing nothing, just looking uncomfortable. "Brandon?" I whispered, looking at him. "Are you going to let them talk to me like this?" He opened his mouth, then closed it. "Mom, maybe we should—" "Should what?" Clarissa snapped. "Should pretend this girl is acceptable? Should act like she's not obviously after your money?" I felt tears starting to form, but I blinked them back. I wouldn't give them the satisfaction. Natasha circled me like a predator. "That dress probably cost what? $30? And those shoes. Are those from a discount store?" People were laughing now, actually laughing, and phones were everywhere, recording every humiliating second. Then Clarissa stepped closer to me, close enough that I could smell her expensive perfume. "Listen here, you little gold digger," she hissed, loud enough for others to hear. "I know exactly what you are. You're a nobody, a nothing, some poor little girl who saw an opportunity and took it. My son deserves someone from his level, someone with class, breeding, education, someone who belongs in our world. You're trash." That's when she slapped me. The sound cracked through the ballroom like a gunshot. My face snapped to the side, my cheek burning. There were gasps. More phones came out. I could see someone had gone live on social media. The viewer count was climbing rapidly. I stood there, stunned, my hand on my burning cheek. Tears finally spilled over. "Brandon?" My voice broke. He looked at the ground. That's when Natasha grabbed my dress. "How dare you make my mother upset?" she shrieked, and she yanked hard on the shoulder strap of my dress. The fabric ripped. The sound of tearing cloth seemed impossibly loud. My dress, already modest, was now torn badly at the shoulder. I grabbed at it, trying to hold it together, humiliation washing over me in waves. The crowd was in a frenzy now. Laughter, gasps, phones recording everything. The live stream viewer count was in the tens of thousands and climbing. "Security!" Clarissa shouted. "Remove this trash from my party!" 2 security guards started toward me. I looked at Brandon one last time, silently begging him to say something, anything, to defend me, to stand up for me. He looked away. Something inside me broke, but it wasn't defeat. It was clarity. "I see," I said quietly. That's when we all heard it. The helicopter. At first it was just a distant sound. Then it got louder. Louder. The entire building started to vibrate slightly. Everyone looked up, confused. The chandeliers swayed. Glasses on tables rattled. "What on earth?" Clarissa said, annoyed at the interruption of my humiliation. The sound was deafening now. Through the ballroom's high windows, we could see lights. A helicopter was landing on the hotel's rooftop helipad. The crowd murmured with confusion and curiosity. Who would arrive by helicopter? The live stream viewer count hit 100,000. Then the ballroom doors opened. My father walked in. William Harrison, 6'3", silver hair, commanding presence, wearing a suit that cost more than most people's cars. Behind him, 4 bodyguards in black. Everyone in that room knew who he was. His face had been on the cover of Forbes, Time, Business Weekly. He'd given TED Talks. He'd met with presidents. And he looked absolutely furious. The crowd parted like the Red Sea as he walked through. People were stammering, trying to greet him, but he ignored them all. His eyes were locked on one thing. Me. "Oh my God," someone whispered. "That's William Harrison. The billionaire? What's he doing here?" My father reached me, and his expression softened instantly. He gently removed his jacket and wrapped it around my shoulders, covering my torn dress. "Are you all right, sweetheart?" he asked quietly. I couldn't speak. I just shook my head, tears streaming down my face. "Dad," I whispered, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." "You have absolutely nothing to apologize for," he said firmly. Then he turned to face Clarissa. The color had drained from her face. She looked like she might faint. "You," my father said, his voice cold as ice, "slapped my daughter." The room erupted in whispers. Phones were everywhere now. The live stream count hit 500,000 viewers. Your daughter?" Clarissa stammered. I didn't... Mr. Harrison, I had no idea." "You had no idea?" My father's voice was quiet, but it commanded the entire room. "So you treat people like garbage when you think they're poor? When you think they have no power? No connections? You felt entitled to assault someone because you judged them by their appearance?" Kenneth Hayes, Brandon's father, rushed forward. "Mr. Harrison, please, I'm sure this is all a misunderstanding." "A misunderstanding?" My father pulled out his phone. "I watched the video. The whole thing. Your wife called my daughter trash. Your daughter ripped her dress. And 800,000 people are watching this live right now." Clarissa's face went from white to gray. "Please," she whispered. "I didn't know who she was." My father's expression was ice. "And that's exactly the problem, Mrs. Hayes. You should treat everyone with respect, regardless of who they are." I stepped forward then, wiping my tears. My voice shook, but I needed to say this. "I came here tonight as just Emma," I said, looking at Clarissa, then at Brandon. "Not Emma Harrison, not a billionaire's daughter, just me. A normal girl who wanted to see if she'd be accepted for who she is as a person, not for her money or status or connections. I looked at Brandon, who was staring at me in shock. I wanted to know if you loved me, the real me. But I got my answer tonight, didn't I? You stood there while they tore me apart. You said nothing when your mother slapped me. You watched your sister rip my dress. You were silent. Emma. Brandon fell to his knees. Please, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know who you were. If I had known... And there it is, I said, my voice breaking. You're sorry because of who I am, not because of what they did to me. If I had really been poor, you would have let them throw me out like garbage. You're not sorry they hurt me, Brandon. You're sorry you just lost a billionaire. My father made a phone call, putting it on speaker. Howard, I need you to immediately pull all Harrison Technology investments from Hayes Real Estate Corporation. What? Kenneth Hayes shouted. No, you can't. Check your records, Mr. Hayes. We own 35% of your company. We're pulling out, effective immediately. That will bankrupt us. Kenneth's voice was panicked. You should have thought about that, my father said coldly, before your family assaulted my daughter. Clarissa literally fell to her knees. Please, Mr. Harrison, I'm begging you. We'll lose everything. Natasha tried to approach me, mascara running. Emma, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean any of it. Please, you have to believe me. You meant every single word, I said quietly. You ripped my dress. You laughed while people recorded my humiliation. You called me trash. Jessica was hiding behind a pillar, trying to disappear. Brandon was still on his knees, but I felt nothing looking at him. The man I loved didn't exist. He never had. My father spoke into his phone again. Also, Howard, contact our legal team. I want assault charges filed. I have video evidence from multiple angles. The live stream alone has over 2 million viewers now. No, Clarissa shrieked. Please, we'll do anything. I looked at her with tears still on my face, but my head held high. There's nothing you can do, Mrs. Hayes. You showed me exactly who you are. All of you did. And now, the whole world knows too. My father took my arm gently. Let's go home, sweetheart. We walked toward the exit. The crowd parted in absolute silence. You could hear a pin drop. Brandon tried one last desperate attempt. Emma, please, I love you. I stopped. I didn't turn around. You don't love me, Brandon. You love my money. There's a difference. And you know what? I hope you remember this moment for the rest of your life. I hope you remember that you had someone who loved you genuinely, and you threw it away because you were too much of a coward to stand up for what was right. We left. The ballroom doors closed behind us. Through the glass, I could see Clarissa collapsed on the floor, Kenneth trying to make phone calls, Natasha crying, Brandon sitting on the floor with his head in his hands. In the helicopter, my father held my hand. I'm proud of you, he said, for testing them, for standing tall, for keeping your dignity even when they tried to strip it away. I really loved him, Dad, I whispered. I know, sweetheart, but he didn't deserve you. The next week was surreal. The video went viral. Over 10 million views across all platforms. Hayes Real Estate Corporation filed for bankruptcy within days. Clarissa and Kenneth's names were destroyed in social circles. Natasha lost all her influencer sponsorships. Brandon was fired from his job because the company didn't want the association. I gave one interview, and it went viral too. I said, judge people by their character, not by their bank account. Treat everyone with kindness because you never know who they might be. But more importantly, treat people with kindness because it's the right thing to do. 3 months later, I was hosting a charity event for homeless families. I was honest about who I was now. No more hiding, but I was also careful. Very careful about who I let into my life. I met someone there, a volunteer named Tyler. He was kind to everyone, patient with the children, respectful to the elderly. He treated the janitor with the same courtesy he showed the donors, and when he found out who I was, nothing changed. He treated me exactly the same. We're taking it slow, very slow. But I have hope, because that night taught me something important. My father was right. Money doesn't define worth, character does. And the people who judge you by your appearance, your clothes, your perceived status, they were never worthy of knowing the real you in the first place. Sometimes the worst experiences lead to the best lessons. And karma? Karma is very, very real. I don't regret testing Brandon's family. I only regret that I wasted 8 months on someone who didn't truly love me. But now I know better. Now I know what real love should look like. It should be brave. It should stand up for you. It should see you, not your bank account. And it should never, ever be silent when someone tries to tear you down. If you believe that nobody should be judged by their appearance or bank account, smash that subscribe button right now. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a story like this. Comment below and tell me, would you have revealed your identity sooner, or would you have let them keep humiliating themselves? And be honest, what would you have done in Emma's situation? Share this story with someone who needs to hear this message today. Someone who's ever been judged unfairly. Someone who's ever felt small because of other people's cruelty. Remember, stay humble, stay kind, and never let anyone dim your light. Your worth isn't determined by your clothes, your car, or your bank account. It's determined by your character, and that's something no one can ever take away from you. Until next time, this is Emma's story. And maybe, just maybe, it's a little bit of yours too.